Alright, welcome to the Aoe Rotation video or the Aoe guide video. So this one is really interesting because I can simply not teach you in one video everything you want to like know when you're engaging in an Aoe scenario because the amount of factors that are like the button you want to press is depending on so many different factors that it's just not possible to teach it in a theoretic way in one video, or maybe if the video is like 2 days long or something like this. But yeah, I can still show you some combos and tips and tricks you want to do. I can describe some situations in that you will find yourself a lot of times and how you want to respond to those. So the buttons we want to press are depending on like the threat from the tank, the rage we have right now, the rage we are going to get in the near future. So if we know in 1 second we are going to take a big hit, we get a lot of rage. So this is another factor. Um, the amounts of procs you have available to you, like if you have Wind Fury and Sword Spec, or if you don't have both, or you have like only one of them. Then there is the amounts of hits you are doing, so there's the gear you have, the amounts of mobs that are around, yeah, everything basically. Like every little detail can change everything in the priority in which you want to press your buttons. So yeah, this is why I can only teach you your basic knowledge and can give some examples, but you have to put in a lot of training or a lot of exercise time in dungeons and stuff like this to really get your decision making on point, because a lot of the time it's like instinctive what you want to press, because yeah, there are so many things happening at the same time that you can't really pay attention to your rotation. So it's muscle memory, instinct, and there are even gambles evolved, like gambles on crits, gambles on procs and stuff like this. So here at the end of the video or the next video will be some clips of a dungeon run, and I want to use these clips to talk you through my decision making, and this could help you when you are planning to exercise some dungeon runs. So let's just start with the first thing, which is some details about your Sweeping Strikes ability, because it's simply the most important ability in your cleave scenarios. So you have 10 seconds to use 10 charges from your Sweeping Strikes, right? And you have a slot two-hander that is only hitting every 3 seconds. In addition, Sweeping Strikes cost 30 fucking rage. So it can be a challenge sometimes to get all of those 10 charges out. If you do not have any procs available to you, like Sword Spec or Wind Fury, it's most of the time it's even impossible to do this. So this is why there's always room for improvement when using Sweeping Strikes. So how do we consume stacks of Sweeping Strikes? Every attack we do, auto attacks, procs, extra attack procs, rear wind, hamstring, even pummel, will consume one charge, and they will do an extra attack. If you proc an extra attack with pummel or with a hamstring, the extra attack will deal like 70 damage or so, so don't do that. There's one button that consumes more than one stack, and this is Cleave. Cleave can consume 2 stacks for Sweeping Strikes. Yeah, Whirlwind only uses one as well, by the way. So don't think that Cleave will consume 2 stacks because it hits 2 targets. This is not the reason, because Whirlwind, even if it hits 4 targets, it consumes only 1 stack. So this is important to know when planning out in which way you want to use your Sweeping Strike stacks. So how are we going to tackle this problem most efficiently? And this is obviously we want to bank up rage before we can use sweeping strikes, and we want to use as many hits as possible. So what we're gonna do is we wait until our auto attack is like 0.5 seconds from about to happen, and in this very moment we press sweeping strikes, and after that we press whirlwind or something else. And yeah, for this combo you need 55 rage, so because your sweeping strikes cost 30 and your whirlwind cost 20, this combo uh, is is um, is good if you have like only if you have Wind Fury and Whirlwind, because it's some hits and you can proc an extra attack from those and get going immediately after that. However, if you do not have many procs available, like only Wind Fury or only Sword Spec, you want to go for a bigger combo, so you involve one more hit into the combo and use up one more charge from your sweeping strikes. And the way you want to do this is with cleave. So you need 75 rage for the next combo, and the next combo is you wait until your cleave or your auto attack. In this case it's the cleave because you transformed your next auto attack to cleave, to become a cleave, and you wait until it's 0.5 seconds from about to happen. Then you press sweeping strikes, and now it's getting important. Right after the cleave was cast, you press whirlwind. If you have a wind fury available to you, you have to do it like this, because if you press your whirlwind like 0.1 second before your cleave would come out and the whirlwind procs an extra attack like a Wind Fury, the Wind Fury will reset your swing timer right here. So you get your cleave out via the Wind Fury proc, but your swing timer will be resetted. And now let's think about what will happen if the Whirlwind procs a Wind Fury, um, but we but we used the combo in the right way so that we waited for the cleave to come out. This will mean that cleave comes out, whirlwind comes out almost at the same time, like right when it's about to happen. And, and here, then we press whirlwind. The whirlwind procs a wind fury, and we get like an entire extra free hit, a free hit that is feeding us some rage. If you do not have wind fury available, you can press the whirlwind even before the cleave will come out, but be aware that you press the whirlwind after you casted your sweeping strikes. So I'm gonna demonstrate this combo right now so you get a better understanding and the visual idea. So I need you to help me demonstrate it. I need you. Other one reset. So let's get this guy. So we Q, cleave, we press sweeping strikes right before it comes out, and after that we reserve whirlwind. So these are the two combos you can use. You need to bank up rage for those. Those combos are a lot of hits, so you most likely get fat rage in the process, and it's just the best way to start your Aoe rotation. Keep in mind that this combo is a shit ton of damage up front and will most likely pull a mob from the tank, pull aggro of the tank from at least one mob, even if you give your tank a lot of time to build up threat. So if you are in a heroic dungeon and your tank has a bad reaction time, you can't really use this combo. So this is again a thing then you have to adapt to. So, but in normal instances or with a good tank, you can really profit from this knowledge, and it's actually very rare knowledge, like very rare knowledge. And yeah, so these are the two combos in which you should use your sweeping strikes at the start. And of course, this depends again if you get fed rage. So if you are at 30 rage and you know in 1 second there's a fire nova going off, and yeah, in this situation you could just hit sweeping strikes and start DPSing. But yeah, again, a factor you have to consider. Most of the time the combo is the right way though. That's why it's important. Okay, so let's talk about a scenario in which you would not get any extra rage fed to you, and you have a sword spec or wind fury available to you, or both. In this scenario, like for example, you have a sword and DPSing 3 dummies, right? So you are not going to pull aggro on those. You are not going to get damaged. So in this scenario, you use your 3 hit standard rotation with some changes. So the most important change is whirlwind becomes #1 priority. You never delay whirlwind for nothing. So here this is one thing that changes. The other thing that changes is the usage of your heroic strike, or in this case cleave, because you would never ever use heroic strike in a cleave scenario, but instead you would use cleave. So, but when do you use it exactly? So there are a couple of situations where you want to use your cleave in this normal rotation scenario, and this is, for example, you have a 65 rage available, and you're planning to do your next 3-hit combo with auto attack, slam, and mortal strike, because whirlwind is on CD, right? So you would do that, but you have 65 rage. So what you can do is you can queue up cleave, and your 3-hit combo would look like this: cleave, slam, mortal strike. So 65 rage, because 15 plus 30 plus 20 is 65. You can do this combo safely without rage starving you most of the time, because it will most likely proc at least sword spec or at least wind fury. So there's again, you see, you got to sometimes adjust a little bit and predict a little bit. So if you do not want to predict that you are going to get extra attack proc, you might not want to use this combo if that would mean that you are delaying your whirlwind, if that makes sense. So next situation in which you can use cleave is you are at 60 rage, so not 65, it's 60, and you're planning to do your 3-hit combo with auto attack, slam, whirlwind, because whirlwind is available. So then you have 60 rage, you can queue up cleave and do your 3-hit combo with cleave, slam, whirlwind. So these are two situations in which you want to use cleave. The next situation in your standard scenario is just like with heroic strike, you can use the heroic strike trick with cleave instead. So let's say you're waiting for your auto attack, bam, you press slam, and while you are casting slam, you see, oh, I got 85 rage, so I would overcap if my slam procs an extra attack. In this situation, you press cleave, and if you're so that if you would proc, your cleave will be used instead of your auto attack, or instead of your wind fury proc, and yeah, this way you stop yourself from overcapping rage or overcapping too much rage. And yeah, remember that if this slam does not proc the extra attack, so therefore your cleave will not be triggered, you need to cancel the cleave again. So this is your standard situation. The standard situation is a very rare case, to be honest. So I don't know if standard situation is even the right name for this, but we know as a warrior, we have, if we take damage, we get fed a lot of rage. So we can use, for example, in the single target, this is the situation where we just hardcasting slam and yes, just spamming slam with other buttons in between. And yeah, if in AoE we are finding ourselves in the situation where we have a lot of rage available to us because we are getting damaged, or we have pulled aggro, we do not want to use the slam spam method. Instead, we want to use the cleave spam method. And this method will you will cleave, you will spam your cleave as much as possible, and in between you just use whirlwind with first priority, then you use mortal strike obviously, and if those are on cooldown you can look out for a pummel, or you can throw out some hamstrings just to fish for procs, because if you get lucky with your procs you can dish out more cleaves, because remember, if you're proccing an extra attack and your cleave is queued, the extra attack will do you cleave instead. So one fun, one nice interaction I want to describe is, let's say your auto attack timer is at half, you queued cleave, you press Mortal Strike. Mortal Strike is proccing a sword spec, so the sword spec will be a cleave, and your auto attack timer will not reset because it's a sword spec and not a Wind Fury. So what happens is that yeah, you casted the slam a cleave almost for free at the half of your swing timer, and then when the swing timer comes out, or you get another windfield proc right about here, you can dish out another cleave like in 2 seconds. You can dish out like 2 cleaves, and this is why you want to spam the button in this situation, because if you don't, there is the possibility that you're missing some of those juicy cleaves. So yeah, but this method only really comes in if you're getting damaged a lot, but you're finding yourself in this situation quite frequently. So what else is can we say about Aoe rotation, or what else is factored in your decision making? Yeah, it's a killing blows actually. So if you see the opportunity to get a killing blow, you have to consider the chances of you getting the killing blow with the button you want to press for this killing blow, and yeah, if it's worth it. So if you get the killing blow, you can use one victory rush for free, which is good value because yeah, it's for free. It uses up one sweeping strike charge. It can proc extra attacks, so it can proc cleaves and shit like this in your cleave scenario. So yeah, you want to factor in if it's worth to execute the target with 50 rage because you get an extra attack that is for free. You want to look out if it's maybe more worth it to mortal strike one mob because it would kill the mob and the whirlwind wouldn't, and stuff like this. So you can min-max very hard in Aoe rotation. So, and yeah, Aoe rotation, to get it down properly is even more important than knowing how to use your single target rotation, because remember, one of the reasons we are brought to a raid or a dungeon as warriors is because we can carry like Aoe DPS, we can carry like clear speed a lot, and yeah, if you cannot do this, you lose out on one value that your class is going to bring, and this would be very bad. So the next thing that is going to happen is you want to practice a lot. So I don't know, put on some nice music and rock some dungeons as DPS and try to figure out which buttons you want to press. So we're going to see ourselves in the video where I go over my own Aoe rotation and try to talk you through my thought process. See you then.